Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fadli and my serial identification number is 2040601077. And this video I will discuss my assignment for final exams, and this in my video the material I took from second week and third week from my lecture material. I hope you enjoy my video. And now I will discuss the structure and dynamics of coastal and marine ecosystems. Coastal area. A coastal area is defined as an area where land borders with the sea. Land boundaries include areas that are waterlogged, as well as those that are not flooded, which are still affected by the process of sea, such as tides and seawater intrusion, while the boundary at sea is areas affected by natural processes on land, such as sedimentation and the flow of fresh water into the sea, as well as those affected by human activities on land. And next, ecological dimension of coastal ecosystems. First, natural resource provider, and the second is life support service providers, and the third, convenience service providers, and the fourth, waste recipient. First, natural resource providers, namely as fish resource and mangrove and reef coral. And the second is providers of life support service, namely as a place of cultivation. And the third is convenience service providers, as recreation and development tourism place. And the fourth is waste recipient, as a container waste from activities on land and sea. Domestic waste. Domestic liquid waste originating from water, laundry such as soaps, detergents, oils, and pesticides. Second is liquid waste originating from outhouse, such as soap, shampoo, feces, and urine. Hazardous domestic waste. First is detergent, and the second is feces. Detergent. Its constituent materials. First, surfactants, alkyl benzene sulfonate, or ABS. Compounds surfactants are used to remove dirt from clothes. ABS has properties that are resistant to decomposition by microorganisms. The second is phosphate. Phosphate compounds serves to prevent the sticking of dirt back on the material being washed. Phosphate compounds are used by all detergent brands, give sufficient contribution to the occurrence of the eutrophication process, which causes blooming algae population explosion water plants. And the third is bleach and fragrance. Bleaching agent generally consists of sodium carbonate. According to results Malaysian Consumer Organization Research, or CAP, bleach can cause cancer in humans, whereas for fragrance are more detrimental to consumer because the ingredient this leads to higher production costs, so that the selling price of the product is getting more expensive, even though the fragrance has nothing to do with washing ability. And the fourth is the actual foaming agent is not needed in the washing process, and there is no relationship between clean power with abundant foam. And the fifth is fluorescent, useful for making clothes more brilliant. Next is feces. The most dangerous part of domestic waste is pathogenic microorganisms contained in feces because can transmit various diseases when entering the human body. 1 gram of feces contains 1 billion infective virus particles, which can survive for several weeks at below 10 degrees Celsius. That are 4 pathogenic microorganisms contained in feces, namely viruses, protozoa, worms, and bacteria that generally represented by the E. coli. According to the records of the World Health Organization, or WHO, report that untreated domestic wastewater has virus content of 100,000 infective virus particles per year liter, more than 120 types of pathogenic viruses contained in urine and feces. Most of these pathogenic viruses do not give clear symptoms that are difficult to trace the cause. And now I will discuss about ecology. Ecology comes from the Greek language, which consists of 2 words, namely oikos and logos. Oikos means home or residence, and logos means knowledge. The term ecology was first coined by Ernest Haeckel. Ecology, a science that studies both interactions between living things and interactions between living things and their environment. Tropical sea. The sea that lies between 30 degrees north latitude to 300 latitude south tropical marine ecology. The science of relationships, reciprocity between the marine environment and the surrounding areas in the tropical part of the earth with organisms that live in it. The tropics are areas on the Earth's surface geographically located around the equator, which is bounded by 2 latitudes, which is 23.50 south latitude and 23.5 north latitude in geography. In geography, the equator, from Arabic, is a line of imagination drawn in the center of the planet between 2 polar and parallel to the planet's axis of rotation. This equator divides the Earth into two parts, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. The latitude of the equator is 0 degrees. Line length Earth equator is about 4,070 km. The northern hemisphere is half of the Earth's surface, which is north of the line equator. Most of the land on Earth located in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere is the half of the Earth's surface that is located south of the equator. Hemisphere. The south consists of the continents of Antarctica, Australia, partly South America, and parts of Africa and Asia, and 4 oceans, namely the Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Southern ocean.